The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as Ambassador Zainab Hassan straightened her shoulders, her dark eyes meeting the multitude of alien gazes fixed upon her. Beside her, Commander Alex Rodriguez maintained his military bearing, though she could sense the coiled energy beneath his calm exterior. "The Council has spoken," announced High Arbiter Velthak, his serpentine form undulating behind the podium. "Humanity will surrender 70% of its colonial territories to the Zephyrian Collective as reparation for the misunderstanding at Kepler Station." Zainab's jaw tightened. Misunderstanding. That's what they called the unprovoked attack that had killed 3,000 human civilians. The same misunderstanding that every other species in the galaxy seemed eager to overlook in favor of maintaining their precious peace. Furthermore, Velthak continued, his voice carrying the authority of 10,000 years of galactic precedent, humanity will submit to collective oversight of all military operations beyond the Sol system. This is the price of continued membership in our civilized society. The chamber fell silent except for the subtle harmonics of various life support systems accommodating dozens of species. Representatives from the ethereal communion floated in their containment fields, while the rock-like granite collective remained motionless in their designated alcoves. All waited for humanity's inevitable capitulation. Alex leaned toward Zainab, his voice barely a whisper. "Ambassador, we can't accept these terms." "I know," she replied softly, then stepped forward to address the council. "Honored representatives, humanity has carefully considered your proposal." "It is not a proposal," interrupted Councillor Zhextai of the Hegemony, her chitinous mandibles clicking with disdain. "It is a ruling. Your species has no choice but to comply." Zainab smiled, and something in that expression made several nearby delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. "That's where you're wrong, Counselor. Humanity always has a choice." High Arbiter Velthak's head swayed, a gesture of confusion among his species. "Ambassador Hassan, surely you understand the consequences of defying the Council's wisdom. No species survives alone in this galaxy. The trade sanctions alone would cripple your economy, would they?" Zainab asked, producing a data tablet from her diplomatic pouch. "According to our calculations, humanity provides 37% of the galaxy's raw materials, 23% of its manufactured goods, and handles 41% of all interstellar freight operations. We also account for 62% of all military actions against piracy and hostile entities." A murmur rippled through the chamber as delegates absorbed these figures. Alex suppressed a grin as he watched their confidence beginning to waver. "Additionally," Zainab continued, her voice growing stronger, "human colonies have been providing humanitarian aid to 17 different species currently experiencing various crises. The Velkari plague relief, the Thaxon refugee resettlement, the atmospheric processors keeping New Kepler habitable, all human initiatives that your respective governments have relied upon for decades." Councillor Zhextai's mandibles clicked, rapidly, a sign of agitation. "These contributions do not excuse humanity's aggressive tendencies. Your species is violent, unpredictable, effective," Alex interjected, speaking for the first time. The word cut through the chamber like a blade. "The word you're looking for is effective. When the Devourers attacked the Outer Rim, which species stopped them? When the Dark Fleet emerged from beyond known space, who stood between them and civilian populations?" "That was different," protested Arbiter Kesselan of the Trade Consortium. "Those were threats to all galactic civilization." "And the Zephyrian attack on Kepler Station wasn't?" Zainab's voice carried a sharp edge now. 3,000 civilians, including children, dead because the collective wanted our mining rights. But since it was only humans who died, the Council considers it a misunderstanding worthy of negotiation. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, translators struggling to keep pace with the overlapping protests and denials. High Arbiter Velthak raised his ceremonial staff, the crystal at its tip flaring with light to restore order. "The Council's decision stands," he declared. "Humanity will comply, or face the consequences of isolation." Zainab exchanged a glance with Alex, who nodded almost imperceptibly. They had discussed this moment during the long journey to the council chambers, weighing every possible outcome. Now, standing before the assembled representatives of galactic civilization, she felt the weight of her species' future on her shoulders. Then humanity formally withdraws from the Galactic Council, she announced. The silence that followed was absolute. For the first time in recorded history, a species was voluntarily abandoning the protection and benefits of galactic civilization. It was unprecedented, unthinkable, and utterly terrifying to beings who had never known existence without the Council's structure. "You cannot be serious," whispered Councillor Moran of the Peaceful Collective, her crystalline form shimmering with distress. "No species survives alone. The galaxy is too vast, too dangerous." "For you, perhaps," Alex said, his military training evident in every word. "But humans have a saying. We've always been alone in the dark. We just got used to the company." Zainab activated her tablet, broadcasting humanity's withdrawal documents to every delegate simultaneously. "Our colonies will continue operating independently. Our trade networks will function through direct agreements. Our military will protect human interests without regard for council politics. And our humanitarian efforts will continue for any species that request them, regardless of their political affiliations." High Arbiter Veltak's serpentine form coiled with what humans had learned to recognize as extreme agitation. "This is madness. You doom yourselves to eventual extinction." "Maybe," Zainab admitted, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was saying. "But we'll face that extinction as free beings, making our own choices. That's worth more to humanity than all the safety your council can offer." As she and Alex turned to leave, pandemonium erupted behind them. Delegates shouted questions, threats, and desperate pleas. Emergency sessions were called. Threat assessments demanded. Contingency plans activated. The galaxy's most powerful civilization was watching one of its newest members walk away, and for the first time in millennia, they had no idea what would happen next. Walking through the station's corridors toward their transport, Alex finally allowed himself a small smile. "Think they'll manage without us?" Zainab considered the question as they passed viewports, showing the vast expanse of space that humans now faced alone. Behind them, the most advanced civilization in galactic history scrambled to understand how a species barely 2 centuries into space travel had just called their bluff. "I don't know," she replied honestly, "but I'm more interested in seeing what we manage without them." Their ship departed the council station carrying the first free humans in galactic history, heading toward an uncertain but undeniably human future among the stars.